live. Okay, this is going to be the Mast unwrapping and texture talk. In terms of unwrapping, I would say that it's pretty optimized. So if I go to here and just show you this, as you can see, it's only one mast, and then when I duplicated it, as you can see, I also deleted the upper crow's nest. If I just go to element, I delete the upper crow's nest and the flags on the other ones, and then other than that they are the same model, and that just saved a bit of UV space. How I unwrapped this was fairly straightforward. This was done mainly with cylinder maps, because it's all cylinders. So for this part here, this was cylinder wrap all the way here. Cylinder wrap for I'm just gonna get rid of that texture because it's annoying me where it changes. Cylinder wrap for this part, and then for this part I actually placed this seam here and then peeled it and flattened it. That way it would give me a straight island. For up here, this was done the same way, and this too was a cylinder map. For the horizontal one, this was a cylinder map with cylinder projection with a planar projection on either side. I then duplicated that, so I'd already unwrapped this one, I then duplicated it here and here, as same with this one, so it was already unwrapped, it just wasn't packed. So that's one thing I do a lot. It's like here there's only one sail attachment, and is it? Yeah, it's just a cylinder. It's I felt like where it was so far out from the player's view that it wouldn't really matter if it wasn't a tube. So I just made it a cylinder. So these are planar projections either side, and then a cylinder projection going all the way around. For this one, this was the same concept as this, with a cylinder projection going around the side, and then a planar projection top and bottom. That's the same for this element. And for this element, this was done using the way I did most of my unwrapping the previous project, which was selecting all of my edge loops that should probably turn off. So selecting all of my edge loops along here, and then giving it another one along each side here, just one. That way when I flattened it, it would essentially unravel from that seam. And that gave me things like this. Like, there's quite a few islands for like these areas here, but it should be alright, and I could have probably stacked a few on top of each other, but I didn't. And then so you get like this, and I couldn't flatten it because of like the tips here. I see they go in a bit. I mean, I probably could have rotated it a bit and then just like aligned that edge by doing something like that. So yeah, that's what I did, and then after that it was just duplicating them, which was fairly straightforward. So with this one, where as you can see it's slightly different geometry, this was done the exact same way I did this. As you can see, like all the seams are in the exact same position with, again, just one seam across the rest, so when it unraveled it would be flat, and that gave me like these ones here. The pole for the flag is just a cylinder projection because the top and bottom faces are deleted, and this is just a planar projection because it's a flag. As you can see here, it's quite dense in geometry, and that's mainly for the cloth simulation inside UE4. And in here it's actually modelled. That's mainly for Sketchfab purposes. So yeah, overall I'm pretty pleased with the unwrapping. And in terms of packing, again, it's pretty well packed, and I don't think I would change anything, so like making things like smaller as they're further away, because you'd still be able to see them inside Sketchfab, and I didn't really want that, so it was probably best to keep the more uniform scale, because even though I wasn't presenting in Sketchfab, I still wanted to upload it just to show what I'd made, etc. So onto the texturing. Again, this was very straightforward. In my texture talks discussion, I said how I made a smart wood, a smart material of wood. So this is a base colour of brown, fairly rough, non-metallic, no height, and then fibres were influencing the colour and the height, and that's set to overlay and 65, just so like darken it. If it was set to full overlay, it'd be quite dark and harsh. So, and then if I just set that to normal, it'd be black and white, as you can see here. So overlay and then 65. I then added some dirt because, as you can see here, it looks too clean. I mean, it does look like wood, but it looks too clean. So this dirt thing is a thing I do on most of my other textures. So like an example of this is the sails. It's just black, fairly rough, again no height, non-metallic, with a black mask and then a dirt generator. So as you can see here, I have two of them, and that's because at the very bottom of this mast there's slightly different colour, and again that's the same smart material with just a darker base colour. So that's roughly what it's like, and then just darken that. The sail attachment things is just my Canon material. I feel like I've got a lot of use out of that material, and this one I have the rust on, and as you can see here, you can kind of see where it duplicates over, like it's the same kind of texture placement of like the rust. So you got like this thing here, they're all in the same position, and it shows that it is duplicated. And then finally there is the flag. This is that needs to be in there. Alright, so first of all, this started off with probably can just set that to just influence the height, and that's weave 2 procedural. Yeah, it's a weave 2 procedural, and then black, quite metallic. I mean, I probably could optimize it by putting that height like that. Obviously, there's a lot of scale, like the same amount of scale as that one, but for now we'll just leave it at that. And then this is a standard layer that I then used a stencil for. So if I can remember how to do stencils, yeah, so just stencil in there, and then see if I can affecting base color. Or did I just do that? Oh yeah, I just did that. So scaled it up, made it quite harsh, and then just placed. And that, did I get that exact? Oh no. This is my ideas generation flag. So that's recycled from there. So yeah, it's just doing stuff like that, which it helps. What if I was to do that? I mean, it does look a little bit squashed, well, elongated, but I mean, it's at that kind of distance where you can't really see it, like that it's squashed, and I feel like that's fine. If you look here, you can kind of see where there's been a bake. Unfortunately, I lost the high poly file, but this was done using, again, the same way I do all of my unwrapping. Is that hovering? Yeah, we won't talk about that. The same way all of my other high polys are done, which is chamfering via turbo smooth, chamfering via smoothing groups, which gives me my supporting edges for then adding the turbo smooth on top, which gives me much softer edges. So yeah, that is how I made the mast. Like I said, talking about the unwrapping, there isn't really anything I would change because I was uploading to Sketchfab. If I wasn't, I probably would have made the upper masts and stuff a little bit less in texture resolution, just because the player won't be able to see that much detail from the distance of like down here. But yeah, that's my talk. Thank you for watching. See you later.